Omaha Steaks makes it easy to keep great food on hand, so dinner time is simple and convenient. And right now, you can get 12 free burgers and free shipping for life when you shop at omahasteaks.com/yourplan. Only Omaha Steaks gives you the freedom to set your menu your way with no commitments. Choose extra-aged, hand-carved steaks, plump and juicy air-chilled chicken, and so much more. Order once or set up recurring shipments for more savings, more convenience, and inflation-proof pricing. Want to change your menu? No problem. Swap items, skip a shipment, or cancel at any time with no questions asked. You're in control to get what you want when you want it, and every bite is backed by their 100% guarantee. At Omaha Steaks, it's all about you. Visit omahasteaks.com/yourplan to sign up for recurring shipments and get 12 free burgers, a $431 per year value, and free shipping for life. Minimum purchase may apply. See site for details.
Welcome to Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and checking us out this week. Oh man, Drifters is so much fun. It's the hit game show across the universe. 27 seasons of this thing, Kevin.
That's right, and you guys are becoming the new star in the galaxy's most popular infosphere show, and you cemented that by winning your first race on the planet of Akaton last time.
On Critical Hit.
Critical Hit.
Little late there, Sam.
We rotate who gets to be the late one.
Well, you gotta appreciate that at least she had the forethought to go up a half step.
Right.
There you go. All right. So, yes, you guys had just crossed the holographic finish line, securing first place on this stage of a multi-part race that is this season of Drifters. And you had knocked out of competition the Formian team Hive Mind and their vehicle, the Colonizer. But the other two rivals, Team Brainpower in the Tripod of Doom and the new Team Rust Dragon in the Basilisk did finish the race, so they will be able to compete in future races. But the day is yours. No one is talking to them at all, except for maybe, the obligatory, how's it feel to lose this race? What are you going to do to not lose the next race interviews that they air that I'm sure Vangie and Hecubino have seen several of. But you're not giving those interviews. You're giving the winners interviews, the much, much more fun interviews. And you're surrounded by fans of the show, people waving signs with a giant lizard on them, people waving signs with a giant brain on them, some people waving signs with a lizard and a brain on them. People are very excited. And you know that you get to go to the Victory Yacht, which is technically a spaceship, but it goes from it only shows up and only the victors it only shows up at the end of a race and only the victors are invited aboard, and the parties there are legendary. So that is where this whole victory train is headed. You guys can stay together or indulge in the adulation of your fans. It's up to you.
I will check on our nerds real quick and see how they're taking it.
How are the nerds taking it? Let's cut to Amu.
We won. I get to make all sorts of new friends.
Okay.
There's a lot of people who want to be your friend all of a sudden.
Yay. We like having friends.
Okay. What about Bob?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This was the most exciting thing that I've ever had. Oh, this was awesome. Oh, this was so much fun. I can't wait to do it again.
Bob seems to be on his emotional side, his emotional kick, and that makes a lot of sense because everybody's feeling it right now.
Good. In that case, I'm just assuming that Skritic can make himself scarce if he's uncomfortable. So I will not make any attempt to keep the group together, and I'll just let them float wherever they want or wherever the crowd takes them.
Yay, I'm not a nerd.
You're also still working.
Why you gotta?
No, I'm not. I'm saying like that's not like I don't have to worry about you because you have a job to do.
Oh.
It's like when everybody else is idle, then it's like, oh yeah, like I have to make sure that they're like aware that they're still on camera, but it's like I don't have to worry about you.
Well, yes, I am an employee of Extreme Infosphere Productions.
Yeah.
Brought to you in 5D, HD, VG, VR, DMH TV, or dream directly into your brain with the Cube.
Ooh. You weren't supposed to tell anyone about the Cube, but all right, that's fine.
Brought to you by Omnicorp. The free market has spoken.
Nice. So, Vangie, what do you do?
So I'm looking out for this yacht because I'm very excited to go on it.
All right. And Quentin.
Well done is better than well said. So I'm going to make sure that I'm documenting as much as I can of everyone's happiness and, also being awesome.
All right.
Are there drinks? I think I would like a drink.
Sure. So you also have all of a sudden, I'm sure all of you have a bunch of messages, but some of you, not all of you have a direct infosphere connection to your brain. Quentin does. So you have a bunch of messages coming through. Do you ignore them or try to start filtering them?
I'm going to filter and hierarchically adjust them to see which are needing immediate response.
Well, the one needing the most immediate response is from Crystal Wiles.
Playback message.
Hi there. So, congratulations and everything. I'm really happy to see that you have won, but I'm also waiting to hear back from my previous message because, your whole purpose on the team was to monitor them, and you haven't given me a status update. So I'm going to go ahead and need that, and all of the footage of everyone partying, regardless of how embarrassing it is, okay? All right. That's great. Enjoy yourself. Bye-bye. And that's the message. As she reminds you that you're the inside man for her.
Hey. I'm a sphere.
Fair enough. Inside sphere.
Thank you.
You're like one of those Russian dolls.
I'm the literal inside baseball that everybody's talking about when they talk about inside baseball.
So, Skritic?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
I'm just kind of busy waiting to see if we're going to be getting on this yacht to see if I can find a appetizer table or crafts and services or something.
Absolutely. Okay, so the Victory Yacht has landed, and it is a massive golden. It actually has sails. You know that they're solar sails, but it just shines and shimmers in the light, and there's some sort of low level force field that keeps it from getting dusty in the Akaton atmosphere, and it's calling to you all like a beacon as you see it glittering ahead of you, and the party is underway. There's lots of people. They all introduce themselves. I'm not going to come up with their names, but they are very interested in your success. There are drinks. There is food. There's lots of people who want to know everything about you and your deal, and then there's cameras everywhere. There's lots of little spherical bots, but here that you'll note that they're smaller, probably less powerful, and a little less obtrusive, though you do note that everyone apart from yourselves seems to be very aware of them, and you're being encouraged to like smile and kind of pose for the video recordings that are taking place, but everyone's still having a great time and there's tons of food and drink. So I'm going to go into like a little bit of abstraction here. So why don't we all take turns saying what kind of how you indulge yourselves, or what you do if you're not indulging yourself aboard the Victory Yacht. And we will start with Hecubino.
Okay. Hecubino is also still working. He is partying and party shaking hands and party flirting and party whatever, but like he is like making sure to get like business cards. He's making sure that everybody is paying attention to him if somebody else is doing something embarrassing, or he will just, straight up send people to go talk to other members of the group. Like he wants to like smooth out this so that it's as so that this party is as profitable for Team Lizard Brain as winning the race.
Nice. So, do you envision that as? So, I'm going to give you a skill check, which is either a bluff or diplomacy.
Okay. Let's go with bluff.
You're kind of able to deflect people's questions. Give the answers that you think people want to hear.
Oh yeah.
Look after everybody else and protect them a little bit.
13.
Okay. Why don't you also give me a will saving throw?
Okay. Same bonus, 19.
Well, so you are a little distracted, so your efforts are only go so far, but you are able to keep your head despite all of the distractions. There's a lot going on, and it's a little heady to be on the Victory Yacht, a thing you've only seen on the infosphere, and to be the one that people are coming up to and talking to. That's a lot from where you were just a few weeks ago. So you're able to somehow, it's up to you how exactly you manage it, but you're able to manage all those disparate impulses and somewhat keep an eye on people and be sure that you're doing the right thing.
Okay.
Cool. How about Vangie?
So she doesn't have like the smoothness of Hecubino. So she's trying to kind of like, both like, I guess she's trying to stay aware of her role here, but that is also playing into what she kind of wants to do anyways, which is to enjoy this party with like gusto and bombast. So she's probably like, eating and drinking plenty, but like also like very, trying to flex her muscles and arm wrestle people and just like generally like show off and swagger around in like a victory laugh that like looks cool for the purposes of Team Lizardbane, while trying to like walk that line like between being awesome and being super arrogant.
Why don't you give me an air will save? Or
yeah, okay.
Give me a will save as well, I should say.
15.
All right, so you're able to keep it together for the first little while, but then it eventually just gets to you. You're like, it's like when you're I don't know, at a party and you realize everybody else is having so much fun. Like, are you going to be the one that's the stick in the mud, or the one that's like, this is a party in your honor for winning a race of drifters? Like, what are you waiting for to enjoy it? And ultimately, you succumb. So tell me what it's like when Vangie fails the will save to succumb to a party.
I mean, I just assume that she's basically doing like keg stands and like, seeing how many hors d'oeuvres she can shove in her mouth at once, and
the full Bluto, basically.
Yeah, basically, like, just trying to like eat everything and like hugging people and talking about how excited this is and how much this means for her.
Awesome. Bob.
Oh, man. Bob just continues to be overjoyed, high-fiving people even if they don't want to be high-fived. He's, shaking people's hands that he doesn't even know. And he is on a super rush high. It's pretty obvious that this is his first time in one of these kinds of things. And he doesn't care. He's just having a ball.
Awesome. So it sounds to me like Bob automatically fails his will save against enjoying himself immensely.
Oh, man. The tables turn so quickly and Bob just becomes so sad.
But no one leaves Bob hanging for a high five, and he gets to be the star of the show for a while and tell people stories, and everyone listens with rapt attention, or play games with people, or do dares with people, and it seems like people are in rapt attention with Bob.
Yay.
Quentin.
Hello, my name is Quentin.
You seem to have a small but devoted fan base of people or androids that really like your particular blend of, we'll call it observational humor, in that you're literally the observer.
I shall record all of their names. Breck Bannon, Quirrell Ducks, Garth Rans, Lornu Dorgu. I shall record all of their names, and, I will answer that email from Crystal. And then I'll move on.
Whoa. You don't get
No, it's fine. I'm just fine. I'm just going to just send an email. And then I'm going to probably do the thing where I float around and take pictures of everything. Maybe answer a couple of other emails, do some stuff.
That if you don't tell me how you answer it, I will just come up with how you answer it in my head, and that'll be the way things happen. And that's okay by me. I'm fine with it.
You want to play like, all right. Okay, hang on. Let me sit up in my chair here. How shall I respond?
Every once in a while on Sphere Connection, Crystal, 3 little dots appear that indicate that she's, thinking something to you, and then they disappear, indicating she has erased the thought that she was going to send to you. But they keep showing up and then disappearing, and then showing up and then disappearing.
I love it. Should I ghost her? Oh, I could ghost her. I probably shouldn't ghost her.
My dearest Crystal, in regards to your previous email that you sent me earlier today during the middle of the race, I respond thusly.
So, in your mind...
By the way, I'm
Quentin,
fine with you guys calling it an email out of character. In character, they're all infosphere messages. There's no such thing as email.
ISMs, for short.
Yes.
ISM,
I like it.
Allow me to point out that apparently Stephen pictures Quentin as our 32nd president, Chester A. Arthur. So
yeah, it's like Stephen has just replaced like Quentin's sphere with like the Pringles guy.
I got the voice that he
He's
used
single,
for,
he Pringle,
Modern
he here to
City.
mingle.
Is this body?
Or not,
I shall
Modern City, no, not Modern City. Caves of Shadows.
Crystal. Updates will be available as events warrant. At this time, the team is still crystallizing, and each member is currently emotionally stable. The end.
All right. And then what do you do to enjoy yourself or just pass the time?
Are there drinks?
There are.
I shall get some drinks.
There are many drinks. Drinks seem to be a thing here, so yep.
Quentin will test drinks, different sorts of drinks. Quentin drinks, by the way, by taking the thol and actually like emptying it into a small reservoir at the top of his sphere. So literally a little robot arm with a claw on the end comes out and goes and then just dumps it over his head. And then it's
fill up a humidifier or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you can see him sort of analyzing and deciding which is good and which is bad. And then, occasionally necessary, he, has to go to the little robot's room. At which point you just, you drain out the liquid from the bottom of the humidifier. Then you refill it. You see, it's fine. But yes, mostly Quentin will be recording the names of all of his fans so that they will be getting personalized Quentin messages in the future. Infosphere messages, mind you. Not some sort of ancient email or dot matrix printer. No, it will be fully holographical, fifth dimensional messages. Yes. So, right. Reap Daggle will get his, and Jim Allen will get his, and Tom Callor will get his. All of Quentin's fans who come up to him. Not Dirk Morgna, because he's a little jerk, but everybody else.
Dirk the jerk, as they say.
Yeah,
all right, so Skritic, what are you doing in this party atmosphere?
Well, he's largely just amassing foods, even if none are exactly offered.
So imagine him with the massive. I know he's a Yusoki.
Stuff those cheek pouches.
Cheeks full.
Cheek pouches, belt pouches full, stuffing stuff into his shirt.
Even if one's not generally offered, he's managed to procure himself some sort of plate or platter and just piling on as many varied kinds of food as he can get his hands on. Generally making sure that he's got a bite of food in his mouth at all times. So if anyone does try to strike up conversation, he can just give non-committal grunts and move on and basically make his way through the most crowded and circuitous path throughout the whole place, just to kind of avoid direct social interaction.
Try not to get in the way as Vangie is table dancing.
Yes.
And Amu, what do you do with all of your new friends?
Oh boy. So one of our primary goals is to absorb other cultures. Sometimes literally.
There's lots of cultures who want to be absorbed by you here.
I knew you were going to say that.
Wait, this is a family podcast. Sorry, never mind. Continue.
So we're going to stay right next to the buffet line to enjoy the foods of other cultures and talk to anyone who is willing to talk with us.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people who want to talk to you and get a sense of what it's like to be a Rakrichi in this atmosphere. I think you might be the first Rakrichi drifter, so that earns you a whole aquatic fan base, which I think Crystal Wiles had mentioned before. There's people coming up to you in wearing like little breather masks or the glass fishbowl helmets, but filled with water. And they're talking about, and there's other collective organisms like a middle-aged Barathu, who also refers to itself as we, because it's a collective organism as well, and it wonders how you integrate with other first-person singular organisms and things like that.
We try our best. We're still learning.
All right, so we're just we'll freeform this. We're cutting to 12 hours later, and each of you tell me. You have to do the following. It'll be a little exercise. You have to tell me something that has happened to you. What state you're in when everything is over, and you have to involve at least one other character in your summary. And you guys can talk and stuff and interact in that, but you basically get to rope them into whatever little anecdote happens while you're on the victory yacht. One or more people if you want. So who wants to go first?
I will go first.
So remember, I want to know where you're at in 12 hours and an interesting anecdote.
12 hours into the party, Quentin is literally perched on Vangie's head as she decided to wear him as a hat. And he thought this might be amusing. This actually came at the point when she was literally trying to relive the entire 25th season with voices and characters and all of the necessary people who were being eliminated. And apparently one of the drifters in that season literally had a circular dome head. So Vangie grabbed Quentin, put him on her head, and he's just stayed there because it actually gives you a really good view of the room. And you always get to be in the middle of the entertaining action. And of course, recording everything, no matter how embarrassing, with a decision to make as to whether or not that information and video is going to be shared. But, that's
all right. That seems like it should be Vangie's turn next.
Yeah, that's fair. So I think after this recreation, she has been she has wandered over to where Hecubino is very delicately holding court, and it's just none of this would be possible without my brother Hecubino. He's the best. He always looks out for me. He's the best, just the coolest guy. I don't tell you that enough, Hecubino. You are the coolest guy, and I love you.
Aww.
I love you too, I say as I switch out her drink for some water.
Yep, you can get some food coloring in the water so she doesn't notice.
Yeah, I think her taste buds are already way gone. Be like, oh, this is so strong. These drinks are so good.
Hecubino. And it doesn't have to be at the end. You can introduce it at any point you wish. But you made your will save, so you're allowed to do kind of what you want.
Yeah, I think that actually Hecubino at some point is going to peek under a tablecloth and find Skritic with his horde and be like, hey, I'm gonna keep an ear open for see if I can hear anything about what that thing our sponsor told us that might be going on. So if you don't mind, once your cheeks are full, if you could also just keep an eye open and see if there's anything going on, any weird deals or anything. I'm not sure what we're looking for, but I'm going to try and pay attention to that.
Sounds good. Want a kebab?
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Skritic, what adventures do you get on over the next 12 hours? I have this imagination of Skritic at the end of 12 hours. You can feel free to change it. But I have him laying down on a Chase lounge with a pot belly full of food.
like Templeton the Rat in Charlotte's Web.
Yeah. At some point I may have found Amu and see if any of these various things, especially ones I found particularly unpleasant, are at all agreeable to his or their being. And I just just kind of see if any of that's of interest to him.
In 12 hours, Skritic has shared food with Amu. It's a very sweet scene. It's like, hey, this doesn't really float my boat. What about you? Amu, how does Amu react to that?
Also, just watching them eat is kind of weird.
Amu's incredibly excited about it. New foods. My friend is being friendly to me.
Nice. Well, what's a scene that Amu gets into?
Amu will.
Oh, actually, wait. Pause just one moment, Rob. Brian, how does Skritic end his 12 hours?
Skritic probably be just kind of scurrying between table to table, just trying to listen in on any conversations and see if he can hear any such schemings that may be of interest.
All right, sounds good. So, Amu, interesting story, and how does it end?
See, Amu will try and get Bob to open up about where he came from.
Ooh, what do you say, Amu?
Almost exactly that. So what did you do before we became friends, Bob?
I was in the transportation service. Yes, that's what it was.
How did you learn how to drive?
That's downloaded the first session into my brain, and once that it fused with my neural network, they gave me the go-ahead to go and drive and fly.
Can we take a look at that?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes. You can go onto the GitHub and get a copy of it yourself, though.
Oh, okay. And Amu will do just that. Right then.
You've downloaded a bunch of programs. You can't upload them into yourself the way Bob can.
We'll have to rectify that at some point.
All right. And how does Amu wind up after 12 hours on this yacht of luxury?
As people start to dissipate, Amu starts shoving any leftovers into his into their shell.
Okay. And last but not least, Bob.
Oh, man. For the 12 hours, Bob got involved in an impromptu mosh pit over on the dance floor. He went to go chase after, I guess, what tell us about this yacht a little bit more. Is it a seafaring yacht, or is this an airfaring yacht?
It's a space yacht. It
Or
has
space
solar
yacht.
Yeah, so it's able to it has some form of propulsion that will allow it to travel, basically fly across a planet's surface, but it has solar sails. So, think of, one of those, I don't know, billion-dollar yachts that can hold other yachts in them.
Mhm.
And this is that.
Okay.
It's technically all owned by the most significant sponsor of the show, which is Abadar Corp. The major sponsor being Abadar Black, the credit stick with no limit.
Mm.
And so
Happiness is purchased, fulfillment is earned.
they have a lot of slogans. Being rich is better than the alternative, and so on. So
Security through acquisition.
So they definitely tend to take their footage from the Victory yacht or the Victor's yacht and splice it into their advertising later.
Okay. So I'm sure at some point, as Bob was getting off the dance floor, he ran into a table of food that Skritic was trying to get at and just knocked all the food all over the floor. Bob, not, still pretty high on the whole winning thing, kind of little brushes it off and goes, Skritic, you're the guy, yeah.
Yeah.
And tries to high five him.
You
And that's probably where all the food that Amu gets later is from the stuff that Bob knocked over.
I could just imagine Amu slurking in the background, kind of slinking in his not in an amorphous way, and he'll be like snatch, 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 picking up the food while no one's paying attention.
Yep. Bob ends up in some card game and ended up thankfully breaking even.
Nice.
And by the time the 12 hours are over, he's walking down an empty hallway. Apparently the party is broken up. And he's just walking down an empty hallway with some Drifter's swag that he picked up at the swag table. And he's got a Drifter's hat on and a Drifter's t-shirt. He's just kind of walking down, boop, 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 booping along, looking for all his friends. Where'd everybody go? Let's keep the party going. You guys, come on. But nobody's there.
That's fantastic. And at that, we'll also cut back to Skritic, who overhears something saying, from one of the tables being like, "Hey, do you think these guys are worth the overtime? Do you think that they know that only the first 4 hours were paid for?" It's I don't know, that we get to keep charging every minute that goes by. I don't say why we should stop. Let's all just keep smiling for the camera and drinking. I've had worse jobs.
And this is how we lose our winnings.
That was probably Dirk. Freaking Dirk.
And so it turns out that you guys have won 10,000 credits.
Nice.
And you get, a big novelty cred stick, which is not, you can't cash that in for anything. They give you real credits. And you owe 8,000 credits in overtime for all of the attendees who are evidently paid employees of the Victory Yacht, and you only had 4 hours for free covered by Extreme Infosphere Productions.
Making life convenient, whether you like it or not. Well, it could be worse. Usually what happens is my brother and I sit in the car and fill out the traveler's checks on the lid of the glove compartment. So you stay here.
So, yeah, 12 hours later, you guys all get little dings on your comms from Rain.
Ding dong.
Hey.
Answer it.
Yeah, I assume everybody answers.
Hello.
This is Quentin.
After
Now may I
I
assist
scurry
you?
away from whatever table I was hiding under that just gave away my position, I check it.
Yep, you guys are all joined into the call, and Rain will answer gruffly, "Hey, time to start partying. We got work to do. Meet me at the ship, and I'll debrief you."
You're so cool. I can't wait to see you again.
And someone sober her up.
Come along, Vangie. I have some water you'll need to drink.
She'll be fine. The Vesk have glands for that.
So you guys make Oh no! I do not want to know what Vesk vomiting is like. Ugh.
Well, I'm glad I'm on top of her head. Let's just say that.
You have a bird's eye view. Anyway, you guys make it back to the Squeaky Clean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make sure that all the drunkies get back.
Okay. Anything else you do to ease their transition back into having to do work?
Yeah, just actually I will does Amu appear to be intoxicated?
I leave that up to Amu.
Probably not.
Okay.
Although if people tried, there's no.
Sure.
I mean, so on the one hand, I can imagine Amu wanting to try a bunch of things. On the other, I can imagine Amu having the best remedies for himself.
Yeah.
Or for
Also,
themselves.
it's entirely possible that Amu only requires like a tiny amount of something to try it and like capture that experience, as opposed to having to drink like even a whole glass of something.
Yeah, or
Plus,
you
you
just like
figure if you're-
shed the part of the reef that's drunk.
Just
Or just put it back there somewhere until it sobers up.
Figure 105
Back
million
at the
of
shell
them.
Yeah.
colony.
Yeah, what are you doing?
So yeah, I'll be like, well, you probably know anatomy's best, so you want to whip something up for Bob and Vangie?
I don't need anything. I didn't even drink.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You never drink and drive. I turn towards Quentin. Remember, kids, don't drink and drive. Don't drink and fly. Don't drink and rocket yourself to the moon.
And the
And then I
little
give a thumbs up.
emoji display on the front of Quentin shows a little shooting star that goes ping.
Yep, and a thumbs up from Bob.
However, while Bob has not had a single drink or any other intoxicant that was available there, Bob does seem high on life.
Yeah, he's high on his own supply.
That's why Hekubino assumed that he was drunk.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, all right then. Just everybody get your game faces on. We got some work to do.
All right, let's do some work.
We'll mix up the best Vangie hangover cure that we can.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me its texture, its taste, and one ingredient.
Funyuns.
One
By the
ingredient
way,
will be
this is a quick aside. Great GM tip: don't do any of the work. Make your players do all the work.
You familiar with grits?
Space grits.
Space Bloody Mary.
no, it'll be a colloid with floating bits of old coral in it.
Ugh. Colloid is the worst form of anything.
Oh,
I haven't gotten to use that word since high school. Okay.
No, I
So
mean,
basically, the texture
very
of slightly
specific.
warm bacon grease is what you're saying.
There is grease in there,
With little
What's it
floating shells.
as well as probably a few of the random foods that Amu got to try that they think will maybe help out.
so give me an overriding taste, family.
Uh,
Salty, sweet.
Shrimp cocktail.
mostly savory with a bit of sour.
Oh God.
Now,
Duck sauce.
put a pin on that. What are Vesk diets usually like? I mean, this might not.
Yeah, I
be
mean that might actually be
completely-
pretty good because Vesker like they'll eat anything and are pretty carnivorous, so that might be like a smoothie.
Yeah. Invesc aren't prone to complaining about their hangover cures, but you weren't raised by Vesk, so
That's true.
you know.
Mm.
A little bit of nature nurture.
You do have quite an iron stomach, though, so you're able to down it and make your way back to the Squeaky Clean, where a haggard-looking Rain has kicked up her heels in the hangar bay, her Lashunta antenna kind of drooping to the side, and she looks up, and that's when she glances up as you guys enter. That's the first sign that you have that she's awake and not asleep.
Hmm.
About time. I've been waiting for you all. Well, I guess congratulations are in order.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You know, team effort, 110% and all of that.
Yep. That's good. You'll get some requests for sponsorship. You're gonna have to sort out the wheat from the chaff on this, but that's good. That's good. So now it's time to get to the real work. Excuse me just a moment. And she seems to stagger off to a restroom on the ship, leaving you guys for a moment.
Okay, I'll check on Squeebo.
Squeebo is excited that you're back and welcomes you guys all. It would jump on you, but that would be very hazardous to your health. So instead, it just runs little circles around all of you and looks at you with its googly eyes.
Oh, hey Squeebo, how's it going? Guess what? Vangie had a lot to drink, so you might have to do some cleaning in a room later.
It opens its wide ooze mouth as though it's really excited.
That's horrifying. Just horrifying.
You're not sure if it understands what you're saying, but it can definitely understand your tone of voice. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
She stifles a burp and it smells terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, now Vangie is surrounded by Squeebo. It's just doing circles around you, which itself is a little nauseating.
I'm gonna sit down.
Yeah, good call.
All right,
I'm gonna sit down too. I've probably actually just been standing the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, even you didn't have a time to sleep necessarily if you were always looking after everybody else. Heck, you know. So.
Yeah, I definitely Hecubino started working when he put on his fake armor and hasn't stopped working since. So yeah, I'm gonna sit down.
Okay. So, after just a couple minutes, Rain comes back and she's looking much more invigorated. And she says, "All right, so we got a lot ahead of us. Look, I pulled a lot of strings in order to get this episode shot here on Akaton. You guys might know this, but in the penultimate episode of season 24, a ship blew up here, and I think that they were sabotaged."
Ooh.
So that's why I've brought all of you here, because this is the place that we all need to be to do what we set out to do and find justice and find what's really going on. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. We're happy to help.
I will also allow anyone who has ranks in them to either make a perception or sense motive or maybe life science check.
Sense motive,
Some
you say?
stims in the bathroom.
I
It
could
sure
do a
seems
sense
that way.
motive.
I'll take a sense motive.
I don't have any of these things.
What's motive?
And you only get one of the checks, so you pick which one.
Oh,
Oh,
dang.
life science.
I've lost roll 20.
All right, so it looks like Skritic's making a sense motive. Hecubino, what kind of check are you making?
A sense motive.
Amu, is that life science?
Yeah.
Quentin, sense motive?
What were my options?
Sense motive, life science, or perception?
With that number, it looks like perception.
All right.
I typed in the wrong number, but that's okay. I'll go with perception.
All right.
So, as you guys note when she comes out, Skritic and Hecubino, she seems radically higher energy, and you even note like her hands are shaking a bit, and there's like a mania to her coming out of that. Amu, you would say, her pupils have dilated, her antennae are way more alert and like moving about with a jitteriness that you can actually specifically identify as very common amongst venom stick addicts, which venom sticks give you a massive adrenaline rush. And Quentin, you notice that she tucks some sort of used small tube into her pocket as she's coming out of the restroom.
I shall file that under hopped up on the goofball.
So we need to find out what happened to this team, what happened to this ship. I think that they were murdered. You've won. That's great. You're only here because I invited you. You're only got this ship because I gave it to you. So you owe me. Time to pay up.
Yeah, no, hey, sure.
All right. Yeah. Sorry. I mean, we had to go to the party for the, cameras and stuff. I didn't realize that.
I've been to a fair share of the parties myself. Don't get too hung up on them. They're not your friends. They don't care about you. They don't know you. Can you tell me anyone's name that you talked to yesterday? Huh? No? All right.
Holly, Joseph, Remrez.
Would you like the
sit there
list
and list off
alphabetically?
names.
No, that's all right,
numerical?
guys. I think that was
it's cool.
rhetorical.
It's cool. All right. Where's the crash site again? I don't really remember that season that well.
The crash site? You think the crash site's still in place? No. You're going to have to talk to the scrap keepers. You're going to have to talk to the gangs. You're going to have to talk to the shady people who run Akaton. I need you to talk to every contact you can come up with on this God's forsaken rock and find that ship, find out what happened to them, get us some proof. You got me?
Gotcha.
Yes. let's talk to the trash wyverns. They probably know something.
Yeah.
Maybe Talos's mom and dad know something.
Yeah, that's a good call there, Bob.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, we kept him alive, so we gotta talk to them anyways.
I'll handle the Extreme Productions folks, and I'll handle your sponsors, at least for the time being. But you guys need to start earning your keep, and that means you find out what's going on here. I'll get you. She hands over a pad, and it's like a data pad, and it's like, this is what I already know on the subject. You and what I've been able to find out from Extreme Productions records. You dig in, use your contacts, report back to me, and no one else. You got it?
Yep.
Yep, I got it.
All right. And she stalks off.
Okay.
Well, that was a little bit different and unexpected.
Yep.
Do you notice when she went into the bathroom, she was one way, and then she came out of the bathroom, and she was a different way?
She was clearly under the influence of some sort of compound.
Venom sticks, we believe they're called.
I'm sorry, what?
I would agree with that assessment.
Venom sticks?
They're also lethal if used over a long period of time. You're literally ingesting poison.
Yeah,
she slipped one into her jacket or injecting.
Do venom users often report feelings of paranoia?
They say a paranoiac is simply someone who knows a little of what's going on.
Yeah, but is it like, could this maybe all just be like, she's...
What's it say on her data pad?
So on her data pad...
yeah, I literally toss it to Bob when he says that.
Yeah, so it's got the details of Team Elysium. They're one of those teams. This happens every couple of seasons. They're like the naive good guys, all trying to do well, and they get along really well together. And they're shot in like beatific lighting. Beatific. I'm not sure how to pronounce that word.
Beatific.
There you go. And they were a crowd favorite, and then tragedy struck, and it was one of those heart-wrenching moments of season 24 when their ship exploded.
Is there any kind of details like?
Oh yeah, you have where it exploded, what episode it exploded on, the official cause, and the hauling company that hauled their vehicle away, and that there were no survivors and things like that. And there are a few names on the list. None of them leap out to you. You might have to, and also it's been a couple years, so you may have to reach out to, people that or contacts that you might have on Akaton to try to get to the bottom of it. There's no contact information, though using a quick infosphere search you can find out at least the hauling company and things like that. But that'd be the equivalent. That'd be the equivalent of calling a tow truck company about towing away an accident from 2 years ago. So they may or may not be very helpful.
Can I scan the room for any type of listening devices?
Yes, although I will also remind you of the devices that Rain herself gave you.
Oh yeah, the little jamming devices.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should activate one.
Okay.
Quentin is going to scan for devices and activate his jammer.
Okay. So you don't detect anything on your little scan, which your scan is essentially a perception check. You're like,
Looks good to me.
Yep. And then you activate the jammer.
All right.
which turns off any recording devices you have on, for what it's worth.
That's good. So there's no way that I can tell that anyone can hear us.
Except for naturally. The jammer doesn't prevent someone from literally like overhearing a conversation.
Can the computer hear us where we are?
Oh, hello everyone. Welcome back.
Hi, Grace.
Hi.
We won.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you won.
How are you?
Rain turned me off while she was here. She was in quite a mood.
Oh, you should have seen her before she left.
Bob, make sure you run a diagnostic before we get too far here.
I've completed my diagnostic. I'm fine.
Not yours, I mean hers.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and by the way, the new team Rust Dragon came by. I had to use a little creative firepower to dissuade them from vandalizing me.
Oh,
Great.
well, good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, nicely
Yeah.
done.
Obviously, we need to come up with some victory protocols. You know,
Yeah,
before
all parties
we
are only
go on
4
the yacht,
hours.
somebody needs to move the ship, and also we need to not spend so much time in there, I guess.
Yeah, 4
Yeah,
hours.
We'll
yeah,
figure it
that's,
out.
that's a real bummer.
Trust me, we're gonna sit down and watch the tape. But that's for later. We gotta focus on this now.
Grace,
Quentin?
please deactivate all active listening devices in the cargo bay area.
All right. I will not be able to participate in those conversations in that case, as I record everything I say.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Goodbye. And welcome back, but goodbye again.
There is an additional complication with which we must grapple.
Mm-hmm.
I have been contacted repeatedly by Crystal requesting that I feed her all information about our group and our activities. I have chosen not to do so at this time, and I am bringing this information to you so that we can make a group decision on what I should tell her.
Thanks. Well, if
Yeah.
you don't give her what she wants, she's just going to swap you out for someone else who will. So we probably have to give her a version of what she thinks she wants, right?
Affirmative.
So
It would be a simple matter to simulate whatever information she might think or might expect.
Yeah, that just means that we have to keep a thought to record what we're doing, because Bangy and I know people here, so we can go start investigating, but we can, for example, just hide it as a sightseeing tour or as like a local kids done good kind of situation of us going back and seeing some of our old friends.
Mm-hmm.
And you can edit that together in such a way that, you know, if we talk about something that's sabotage relevant, we can leave that out of the record.
It would be a relatively simple matter to leave any information out, although sophisticated enough android, such as myself, could probably discover, if they were to look, any type of edits.
Well, that's the risk we run.
If we give her no reason.
If you're looking for reasons, I mean, this atmosphere is super thin. We have all kinds of cosmic rays always hitting us here. What do you think Vangy's eye scales look like that?
She blinks.
I presumed that was natural.
It might be. I don't know.
She shrugs.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, where do Hecubina's brain powers come from?
Yeah, exactly.
Might be a
I just always assumed
mutation.
it was cosmic radiation.
But seriously though, this could actually be a good thing eventually if we ever want to, like, I don't know, feed information to them.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Yeah, we don't know if they have a an ear to Crystal. So
As Vangi says, that Squeebo turns and looks and gives you another weird open mouth ooze smile with googly eyes. Makes you feel a little nauseated again.
Okay, Squeebo is creepy. I'm calling it.
what? He's like Lassie. I'm sure he's got something that he wants to share, but he can't because he can only say Squeebo.
Yes, the things that he wants to share are Vanky's lungs.
Maybe my stomach.
You just hope you don't fall down a
stomach.
well because Squeebo's going to have to come get us.
It says, Squeebo!
Yeah.
All right. So
he fell down a
you
black
guys
hole?
gather around the data pad. Do you have a plan for what you're going to set off and do?
Just kind of walking and talking here. If we are looking at getting in contact with the people that hauled and probably dismantled this ship, we have a couple contacts to talk to. As far as, I mean, we know people that were here when this happened, so we can talk to some other people as well, but most of our contacts are going to run towards like the scrap side of things.
Which might be the best place for them. But yeah, I'd probably take a look at see, I don't know if we still have any contact for the trash wyverns. I'd feel like they would be like one of the best people to contact, or best groups to contact.
Yeah, the trash wyverns, you guys definitely know, so between the two of you, you know a few of them, but the last person who was in charge of the gang when you last reached out was a Yosoki named Nibbles.
Okay. Well, that's a place to start. So I'll say that I'll convey that to everyone and say if a ship got gutted on Akaton, chances are these guys have a trail that we can follow. So plus they're one of the few factions here that don't either ignore us on principle or hate us. So
true.
It's probably a good place to start.
We could also check back with Talos's folks, see if they have any input, and
if they have our money. And if they have our money.
Yeah, exact.
Yeah, we should do that first. And I vote that that we take like a break before we actually bust out and start investigating things, just to get everybody back on an even keel.
What does everyone look like after 12 hours of partying, after the multi-stage race in which you guys took damage and like blasted around through canyons and scrap heaps and stuff like that? So give me a quick, reintroduction to the character. This is how I look right now. This is how I'm feeling. Not more than 10-20 seconds. Rodrigo for Hecubino.
Hecubino at this point has taken off all of the unnecessary bits of his armor, and since his armor is like a interweaving carbon tube thing, he's actually like basically wearing it like overalls now. His like chest and head are open so he can like actually breathe in the ship's atmosphere. And he's got, he's probably got some bags under his eyes just because he's been, awake and, shooting his brain at people this whole time. So, he, like, Hecubino's got a good, like, general game face. So, he, like, from the tone of his voice and his, like, demeanor, he seems to be fine. But you can tell from looking at him that he's starting to get tired.
And, like, his makeup is running and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he was literally set on fire earlier. Some of the stuff that he took off he had some trouble getting it off because it like melted together, and he had to like basically crack it to get it off of him. Yeah.
Nice. Skritic.
Well, Skritic's also probably looking pretty singed, both in his fur and his armor. His cheek pouches are loaded, bursting, so he's got the big chubby cheeks. He's also probably pretty tired, very heavy-lidded eyes. He's got a few food comas in during the 12 hours, but yeah, I think he could probably do with wash and sleep.
Singed, tired, chubby. Got it.
Yep.
Bob.
Bob is wearing a drifter's cap, from the swag table, pair of sunglasses that he's wearing, and a T-shirt that says Drifters. It's about 2 sizes too big for him. Other than that, he's operating at 99.5%.
Nice. Amu.
Amu is having trouble holding their shape, holding their humanoid shape. The bits and pieces are less distinct than they were 12 or 16 hours ago.
Fair enough. Starting to decoalesce. Venki.
Venki is like starting to as she's like sitting down, is like kind of starting to maybe nod off. There are like definitely like food and alcohol stains and probably a little blood on her armor, and she's got that like musk that a vest gets after like a really long day of exertion.
Vesk musk. If you guys aren't familiar with that smell, you will become familiar with it. Quentin.
Fortunately, quadra-titanium is stain-proof and relatively difficult to damage, but there is at least one visible scorch mark / scratch, and what seemed to be a Bengi claw marks at one point. But generally speaking, unlike when he's on camera and in the sand skink, he doesn't necessarily have his emoji face up at all times. But when it is up, if you look in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see an indicator that looks like about 75% power on the battery. So
his battery's beginning to power down. Well, 75% is not bad, but
75% is not bad.
75% after a 16-hour day? It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Long
Yeah,
battery
well,
life.
I'm good for a 6-day run without charging, but I tend to recharge in between because it's simply easier to top off.
Sure. Your functions aren't guaranteed after about 1 day, just like a human's.
Yeah, you don't want him to have to start shooting, like turning off applications, like
going into
the one
low
that lets
power
him
mode.
talk. Yeah.
You don't want that, yeah. It'll be bad.
All right, so the crew of the Squeaky Clean Team Lizard Brain, after their first victory, settles in to collapse to rest before going out onto the surface of Akaton and exploring and investigating the potential murder of their previous fellow drifters, Team Elysium. And as the team goes back to their individual quarters or just collapses where they are, Squeebo will kind of tuck you in, which is to say he will acidically dissolve the messes that are on top of you gently, and Grace will coo you all to sleep aboard the Squeaky Clean. And that is where we will end this episode.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for checking us out this week. If you have any questions, drop us an email, podcast@majorspoilers.com. And until next time, here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2021 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.
Omaha Steaks makes it easy to keep great food on hand, so dinner time is simple and convenient. And right now, you can get 12 free burgers and free shipping for life when you shop at omahasteaks.com/yourplan. Only Omaha Steaks gives you the freedom to set your menu your way with no commitments. Choose extra aged, hand-carved steaks, plump and juicy air-chilled chicken, and so much more. Order once or set up recurring shipments for more savings, more convenience, and inflation-proof pricing. Want to change your menu? No problem. Swap items, skip a shipment, or cancel at any time with no questions asked. You're in control to get what you want when you want it, and every bite is backed by their 100% guarantee. At Omaha Steaks, it's all about you. Visit omahasteaks.com/yourplan to sign up for recurring shipments and get 12 free burgers, a $431 per year value, and free shipping for life. Minimum purchase may apply. See site for details.